Chapter 5 Two Traps. After breakfast of cereal and banana slices, Leo dropped Rookie at Tess's house at 4:30 a.m. Tess came to the driveway, showed the boys the route she planned on her swamp map, and said they would be in position near their factory before 6 o'clock. Blackie drove Leo to the factory and parked it out of sight behind the factory. He double-checked his bully trap and settled into the visitor office next to Neil's. Video cameras now gave him perfect views of the parking lot and of Neil's office. His wait was tense, but the spray truck arrived right on time and parked in front of the factory. Leo remarked on the unusually long articulating arm holding the mosquito sprayer and settled into his chair to watch the confrontation soon coming in the office next door. His camera feed showed a lone man with a broad hat covering his face, stepping from the truck and walking to the building. He then switched to the video feed from Neil's office. He couldn't believe what he saw. Flynn! Flynn just walked in the door. So, Mr. Chocolate Man, are you ready to sign? Got the Bitcoin all lined up, I trust. Neil just stared at him with no expression on his face, and Flynn went on. Oh my, I'm sorry to see your reaction. I had you pegged as a man who invested his life in this business and would do every sensible thing to protect it. You shouldn't worry about how paying that measly $1,000,000 would raise your prices. Every chocolate maker in the country will soon be paying it, so you won't have any disadvantage. Want to change your mind? Neil riveted his eyes on Flint, slowly shook his head with pursed lips, and after a pause, Flynn continued. He spoke as though he expected his performance to be recorded by the police, which it was. Well, I'm a consultant with the knowledge to advise you on how to protect your products from environmental contaminants. I'll be happy if you choose to contract with me at a later date. I'll leave now, but you may notice my vehicle in the parking lot for a few moments longer because I need to make some phone calls to other potential customers. Good day, sir. Leo switched his feed and watched Flynn enter his truck, raise the long spray broom, position it carefully above the factory roof, pause, and return it to the truck. Leo pushed a button in his phone and sent a pre-drafted text to the sheriff. He ran down the corridor and out to the truck. Flynn saw Leo coming and exclaimed, not you again. Won't you ever leave me alone? You're wasting my time. You never prove anything. If a jury can't see it, touch it, or find a scientist who has, it doesn't exist. No evidence. You stupid bozo, just like your stupid brother. He had just put his truck in gear when two sheriff's cars roared in from the road with their light bars flashing and sirens blaring, and they blocked the parking lot entrance. 4 officers alighted and walked toward Flynn. Flynn shouted at Leo, I'm out of here, you creep. You'll get yours someday. He dashed straight into the tall grass a few feet in front of his truck, and before Leo could even reach the grass, a huge roar came from the swamp. Seconds later, Flynn was flying over the glades, and Leo thought, as I expected, and right on cue. Over to you now, Rook and Tess. Leo called to the deputies. I'll be back in a few minutes. The truck is evidence. Photograph the scene. My brother and a friend are positioned to trap them in the swamp. Neil arrived at the door with a worried expression on his face. Leo jogged up and said, Let's go to the mixing room. I want to see how the trap worked. They speed walked to the factory floor. Leo gazed over the vat. Didn't see any sign of mist. Looked up to the ceiling and burst into a big smile, saying, No cloud. You have to test the chocolate for sugar content, but my bet is most of the bullies are trapped. I am heading back to the parking lot. Meanwhile, Tess and Ricky were waiting in a narrow point at the waterway about 200 meters from the plant. They'd hidden in the tall grass and watched a fan boat pass quietly past toward the factory just before 6 in the morning. They dragged swamp logs and branches across the channel and formed a dam. The trap was not set, and they now set, and they positioned themselves right behind the dam. Then all was quiet. After about 20 minutes, Rookie and Tess heard the criminal's fan boat roar to life near the factory. Its fans started to scream, and suddenly the boat rounded a bend at full speed. The criminals now had a line of sight to the dam, but they continued straight toward it. Closer, closer. They must see it. They must see us, Rookie thought. What are they doing? Are they going to try to jump the barrier, land on us, kill us? Tess and Rookie ducked behind the deck chairs, covered their faces, and braced for an impact. An impact that didn't come. The fan boat veered to the side, slid over the mud, slid over soft ground and tall grass, and the criminals flew down the channel and into the seemingly endless swamp. Tess jumped up. They may have torn up their bottom, but they escaped. They beat our trap. Ricky pointed toward the fleeing boat and insisted, "It ain't over till it's over. Let's go." Chapter 6. Evil on Okeechobee. Tess fired the engine, turned the boat around, and flew after them. Knowing he couldn't talk over the roar of the engine and fan, Rookie texted Leo what had happened. Leo turned to the closest sheriff's deputy and said, "Hey, I don't like the idea of two unarmed people going after those criminals. I wish I had a fan boat, too." The deputy said with a big smile, "You know, sir, I've never felt like a fairy godmother before, but I can and I will grant your wish. Our fan boat will be pulling in the driveway any minute, and you're welcome to join me on the chase. I can use a driver in case I need to fire my weapon." Leo returned the smile and drawled like a Wild West cowboy, "Ma'am, I am much obliged." The moment he turned, one of the cruisers blocking the driveway pulled away and a truck towing the sheriff's fan boat came in. The driver backed to the river. Leo slid it out. The deputy powered it up the channel, and she handed Leo a boat hook, and he pushed off from the bank. 10 minutes later, Leo spotted Tess's boat in the distance. It was patrolling an offshoot channel. The deputy pulled alongside and cut the fan. Rookie yelled, "We saw signs of broken grass and thought they may have hidden in there, but nope." Leo yelled back, "Guess who we're chasing?" Rookie shrugged. He didn't know, and Leo yelled, "It's Fund!" If Rookie had been a cartoon character, smoke would have shot from the top of his head. The two boats searched branching channels without success, and the defenders were starting to feel like the needle they were chasing had escaped their wet haystack. Then Rookie looked up, pointed, and hollered, "Hey, head for that chopper!" Fortunately, the main channel had become long, straight, and aimed directly toward the hovering helicopter. After only a few minutes, a lake came into view with billowing, dark storm clouds moving toward it from the west. "Okeechobee!" the deputy yelled to Leo. "Okeechobee!" Tess called to Rookie as she pointed at her map. The helicopter hovered over a spit of solid ground on the far side of the lake, and they saw Fund's fan boat up on the short grass, approaching slowly side by side. Leo grew concerned. They were sitting ducks, and the only person with a weapon was the deputy. 5 men and 2 trucks were visible with small piles of unidentifiable material and large crates on the ground all around them. Knowing they may have already been seen, they nevertheless decided to cache themselves in the tall grass behind the point. On their left, alligator eyes protruded from the water. Backs and tails of other alligators moved around behind them. Leo wouldn't allow his eyes to linger on those gators, knowing his human adversaries on the nearby land might have their eyes and their rifles trained on them. He glanced to his right, saw more protruding eyes, and shivered at the thought that just a single alligator could dispatch all four of them if they left their boats. The chopper descended. A bullhorn sounded, but the words were unintelligible. The cracks of guns firing raced over the water. The chopper quickly rose and slid backward. Tess and the deputy both fired their engines and arced their boats away. Light white mist rose. Within a minute became dense and covered the point, and it stayed close to the ground. Leo shouted to the deputy. They may have released bullies and they're reacting with something organic to conceal the next move. Rookie gritted his teeth and yelled at Tess. Would our fan blow the mist away so the chopper can do its thing? Tess moved the boat toward the point and the deputy followed. The chopper fired what appeared to be a tear gas canister, and a more solid white cloud billowed within the mist, and it rose a few feet above it. Small arms fire erupted, and seconds later, the frightening chain explosions of a heavy machine gun burst from the point. The chopper rose rapidly in the direction of the two fan boats as the machine gun fire continued. Then water erupted in front of Leo. Then the entire front of Tess's boat was whipped, and the shock threw both Tess and Rookie into the air. The two landed on opposite sides as their boat's hull slowly took on water. The deputy powered forward to assist. She approached Tess, and Leo stepped up to help her. Rookie hit the water hard, but kept his wits about him. He wore a life jacket and treaded water as well as his shoes and pants allowed. Tess's boat was slowly sinking. He saw only the fan of the deputy's boat beyond it, but he expected to be hauled out momentarily. Then another fan boat revved. He turned toward the point and saw it was Flund. Flund taking advantage of the mist and the commotion on the water. Arg, Rookie said to himself. No, not another escape. Then something made Rookie turn. There, something worse. Far worse. Ripples, tails. A half-dozen alligators had spotted them. In the water, vulnerable, one moving fast. Maybe a minute away? Just a minute? Could there be another one, unseen, under the water, closer? He screamed, Gator, Gator! Rookie heard, looked up, and turned. Tess scrambled inside. The deputy fired the engine, but moving around the sinking boat required a long arc. Rookie felt panic rising. Gators, more gators. He paddled toward the sinking boat. Can I make it? Will it stay afloat long enough? He lost track of the ripples. Oh, there, close. Rookie's head was ready to explode. A small wave hit the back of my head. There's Leo standing above me on the sinking boat, right there above me. A boat hook. Okay, right in front of my face. Got it. But oh no, I'm pulling the boat now down. Making it sink, Leo. Go back, I'll sink you. No. Oh, no, not a ripple. Not here. Time's up. The sky blackened. The chopper? What? Pops? Oh, yes, Pops? Arms? Prone in that long basket? Water dancing on my face, in my eyes, up my nose? Pop's arms? Oh, sweet. His head over my shoulders, arms under my pits. Ha! Gives a leg kick signal. Up! Going up! Come up, legs out of the water, no dragon. Don't tempt those things out. Out and up. Noise, more noise, engines and blades. Chest on the basket, Pops, pulling, scraping my belly. Okay. There's Leo. He's okay too on the deputy's boat. Thank you. Leo looked at the point. The cloud was thinning, dispersing. Flashing lights? 2 sets of them? 3? The chopper flew inland from the point. Leo could hear sirens now, people, a gunshot, confusion. The deputy radioed. The deputy talked. She rocketed toward the point. The rescue basket swayed under the chopper. Lightning burst from a cloud and thunder rolled in the distance. Rookie's world wasn't safe yet. He thought, over land now? Dirt road going down. Slow enough. Mom's here on the road. Police too? Down, slow. Dry land, Mom. Down the road from the point. Pops! Pops Amerigo? Whoa! Chapter 7. Looking back. The mood was festive as the defenders sat around the pool. Amerigo's high-five spirit was flowing when he stood with a drink in his hand and said, "In my wildest imagination, I never thought I'd ever see so many alligators, and I never wanted to see boxes of alligator hides and those cartons of chicken heads and feet. Chum, it's called, bait to attract gators so they could capture them alive for zoos or kill them for their hides. Oh, kill them for pocketbooks. Sheesh. And did you guys see that truck full of cash sitting out there in the swamp? Bizarre, huh? Tess, if the fan on your boat had blown into the back of that truck, a greenback blizzard would have erupted and would have given money laundering a whole new meaning. And then there was Rookie. Did you ever see a guy stay so cool when he was being attacked by alligators? This is a good day. I can't remember another time when three criminal operations finished at the same moment. Think of it, gang. As a team, we prevented the criminal extortion of gator chocolates, stopped the wholesale slaughter of wild alligators, and put the kibosh on a money laundering operation. And who'd have believed the same guy was behind them all? That Funt may be immoral and despicable, but you gotta admit, he's one energetic dude. Ricky shook his head and said, "Evil is energetic, all right, but I'm sick of facing off with that one-man wrecking crew. Next time I see him, I'll put him away for good." Leo smacked his glass down so firmly that water shot up and onto the table. "Here, here, I ditto that. When Rick and I first encountered Flynn on that cliff in Switzerland, we learned fast that he saw no difference between good and evil. Yeah, he's an obsessed slimeball. But boy, he's a slippery one." "So," Mom said, "I agree with Amerigo that this has been quite a day, but for me anyhow, there are a few loose ends. Let's do a little Q&A session." She saw others nod their agreement and continued. "Okay, I'll go first. Tess, my police cruiser arrived only after the machine gun ripped up your boat. I'm so glad you made it through. You overcame danger while doing your civic duty. It's a bummer you had to have the expense of replacing your boat." Tess said, "The good news is the great state of Florida will compensate me. But a boat's just a thing. I'll most remember the gunfire. It was shocking. And wow, Ricky and I both saw how quickly our lives could have changed or even ended. I guess it's a lesson to live each day to its fullest." Ricky said, "Oh, I'm happy to hear they'll replace your cool boat, Tess. Hey, say, if we stay in Fort Myers long enough, maybe I can haul it out of the mud before a fuel leak or something pollutes the lake and, uh, maybe I, I could do that after the alligators all migrate elsewhere. Or, better yet, maybe the sheriff's department can do that job." Rookie continued, but now I need to again thank Uncle Amerigo and Pops for fishing me out before I became an alligator snack. I'm curious, why were you two in the same helicopter?" Amerigo said, "Yesterday evening, your dad mentioned he, your mom, and the FBI would be conducting an operation concerning the disappearing alligators today at 9 a.m. Later that night, my Treasury buds and I were working on our plan to hit the money laundering operation when one of my partners said the cash was scheduled to change hands at 9 a.m. That got me thinking, and I called your dad, and we discovered we were both heading to that point of Lake Okeechobee at 9 o'clock. Your dad almost swallowed his phone when he realized evil humans were decimating the alligator population and not extraterrestrials. When I told Treasury the alligators were the source of the cash being laundered, we decided to make it a joint operation. Amerigo continued, and now I have a question. How could Fund have gotten hold of those exotic bully particles, invisible particles that aren't even proven to exist? Pops raised his hand and said, I'll conjecture how this all transpired based on a few things we know. First, Fund's encounter with Rookie and Amerigo at the International Space Station told us he has rocketry capabilities thanks to an Asian dictator. Now, that dictator has a strong team of physicists and astronomers at his command, and he likes to use them to threaten other countries. My bet is those scientists learned about WIMPs from the Gaia probe reports, did further research, and located clusters of bullies somewhere nearby in the solar system. The dictator sent Fund to harvest them and compensated him in bullies. Having no thoughts but evil ones, Fund hatched a plan to take advantage of their characteristics and go extort businesses. Fund probably was checking on his alligator poaching and money laundering operations when he realized Gator Chocolate was just across the swamp. He probably saw it as a convenient place to kick off his extortion scheme, and if it succeeded, Fund would probably have gone after every other chocolate factory in Florida. Fortunately, our three defenders here had the right knowledge at the right time, and they were able to thwart him. Mom said, that's a plausible explanation, and it leads to another question. Leo, how did you go about capturing those invisible particles? Mom, since nobody had broken into the chocolate factory, I knew contamination had to have come from somewhere. When Tess explained her bully theory, I realized the criminals may have dropped the heavy invisible particles through the roof vent to destroy the sugar. I fabricated a sack from graphene sheets, installed it right beneath the vent. They flowed in and were trapped on the bottom of the sack. Pops jumped to his feet with a flourish. He bounded to the pool's diving board and announced, Listen up, everybody. Please imagine a meeting in the judge's chambers just prior to a trial in a Florida court. He pointed at Leo and demanded, Mr. Prosecutor, how can you possibly hope to convince a jury the defendant destroyed products of Gator Chocolate and in any way threatened the company? There was no weapon anybody could see, feel, hear, or taste. And the destructive particles your witness talks about, she theorizes only. They're not even confirmed by science to exist. Pop strode quickly off the board, took his chair, and motioned for Leo to go to the diving board and speak from there. Well, Leo felt uneasy as the diving board bounced under his shoes. But he started. Pops, Judge, Your Honor, I will demonstrate two things. First, I'll show that a cubic meter of the gas pumped from Fund's truck weighs more than the same volume of normal air. That means Fund added something to the air, something heavier than air. I recognize the jury may well say, so what? Well, I will then demonstrate how spraying the heavy bully particles in that tank into the factory's roof vent did destroy chocolate sugar. The jury will then understand the threat of additional destruction was credible, and avoiding it was worth $1 million, perhaps. I will demonstrate Mr. Fund's method in the courtroom, and my colleague Rookie will record it on video. I'll place a bag of sugar and a bar of chocolate, cut into 24 pieces, on a table in front of the 12 jurors. I will ask each juror to sample the sugar and the chocolate, and I expect them to be pleased with the tastes. Then I'll open a sack of Fund's heavy air right above the table, and the jury will observe a mist forming above the table. I'll then ask the jurors to sample the sugar and chocolate a second time. I have no doubt that Rookie's video will show the jurors' faces contort when they taste the chocolate, visually demonstrating that it has become bitter. My closing argument to the jury will be, if the sugar is stripped, you must convict. Your Honor, the prosecution rests. Leo bowed formally at the waist, flourished both arms, ran back, and took his seat. Everybody applauded Leo's performance, and Mom said, Leo, you're on your way to being a great inventor, but you're also primed for a great career in the legal profession. Tess was sitting there. She dropped her forehead into her hand, looked up, and moaned, I agree, but I'll be glad to never see a gator bar again. Rookie patted his backside and said, and my butt will be glad to never see any kind of gator again. The